I'll never forget the smell. It was thick and sour, like blood left too long in the sun. It clung to the air the morning they found the head of Oluchi, the village trader, on a stake outside Ezenadozie's palace. Her body was never found, and no one dared to ask where it was. Back then, Ezennadozie was ruled by Ezennadozie, a man feared even by the spirits. They said he had power over death, that he could summon the ancestors to do his bidding. But it wasn't the spirits that kept us quiet. It was what we saw. I was a boy, maybe 13, when it all began. My family worked the yam fields and we kept our heads down. That was how we survived in Ezennadozie. We didn't look the king in the eye, and we never, ever asked questions. It started with the disappearances. First, it was strangers passing through the village, traders, hunters, people no one would miss. Then it was the villagers themselves. At first, only the ones who owed taxes or broke the king's laws. But soon, even the innocent weren't safe. One evening, my father didn't come home from the fields. My mother sent me to look for him, but when I reached the farm, I found only his machete lying in the dirt. The blade was clean, but the handle was slick with something wet. I ran back to the village, but no one would help us. They just shook their heads and told us to forget. "We don't speak of those taken," my uncle whispered. A week later, my mother went missing too. I stayed with my uncle after that, but I wasn't the same. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Every night, I heard screams in the distance. Sometimes they were close, sometimes far, but they always came from the direction of the palace. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I crept out of the hut and followed the sound. It led me to the edge of the palace grounds. I hid in the shadows, shaking, my heart pounding in my chest. The king was there, standing in the moonlight. Around him were the elders, and at their feet were bodies. Some were still alive, moaning softly. Ezennadozie held a knife in his hand, the blade catching the light. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. I watched as the king knelt beside one of the bodies, a man I recognized from the market. He whispered something I couldn't hear, then drove the knife into the man's chest. The scream that followed didn't sound human. The elders began to chant, their voices low and guttural. The ground beneath them seemed to pulse, as if something alive was stirring. I saw shadows move that shouldn't have been there, long and twisting, crawling toward the bodies. I don't remember how I got back to the hut. My uncle found me the next morning, curled up in the corner, shaking and muttering. I told him what I'd seen, and he slapped me hard across the face. "You speak of this to no one," he hissed. I didn't. I left Ezennadozie a week later, walking for days until I reached a village where no one knew my name. But even now, years later, I can't forget what I saw. They say Ezennadozie ruled for another 20 years, and that the disappearances never stopped. Some say he's still alive, that the darkness he called on keeps him breathing even now. I don't know if it's true, but I do know this. When I close my eyes at night, I still see the shadows. And sometimes, I still hear the screams. Do well to subscribe, like, and share. Turn on the notification button for more series.